Command to Chen Elimination Squad 7. The Emperor's voice crackled through our comms as we prepared for dimensional jump. 47,286, priority target identified, Sci-Chen designation, the Meta-Chen. Chen Eater looked up from his equipment check. After weeks of interdimensional Sci-Chen extermination, we'd developed our own rhythm. What's the threat assessment, Command? Extreme. This Sci-Chen appears to be aware she's a Sci-Chen. She's studied reports of other Sci-Chen eliminations and has been preparing. I felt that familiar pit in my stomach. Sir, what do you mean, aware she's a Sci-Chen? Intelligence suggests she's somehow gained access to interdimensional communications. She knows about Order 66.1. She knows about you. She's been watching. Dolphin nervously adjusted his gear. That's impossible. Sci-Chens don't have access to Imperial intelligence networks. This one does. She's apparently written 17 academic papers on optimal resistance strategies against interdimensional assassination teams and founded a support group for individuals named Sci-Chen who suspect they might be targeted for elimination. Of course she has, Breadroll muttered. The dimensional rift opened and we stepped through into what appeared to be a perfectly ordinary university campus. Too ordinary, suspiciously ordinary. Squad, Chen Eater's voice was tense. Something's wrong. Where are all the signs of Sci-Chen influence? No perfectly organized infrastructure, no crowds of grateful citizens, no inexplicably improved local conditions? I scanned the area. Sir, according to my readings, this universe appears to be aggressively normal, like someone's actively working to suppress any signs of optimization or improvement. That's when we heard the voice over the campus loudspeaker system. Attention, interdimensional assassination team currently standing near the student parking lot. The voice was unmistakably Sci-Chen, perfectly modulated, professionally confident, with just a hint of that characteristic helpfulness. Welcome to Universe 23,847. I'm Dr. Sci-Chen, Professor of Applied Pessimism and Deliberate Mediocrity. I've been expecting you. Chen Eater raised his blaster. She knows we're here. Oh, I know everything, the voice continued cheerfully. I know about your previous encounters with the medical miracle Chen, the soup kitchen assassin Chen, the educational Chen, the bioweapon Chen, and the furry cult Chen. I've read all your after-action reports. Fascinating reading, really. How is that possible? I demanded. Simple. I'm a Sci-Chen who became an expert in Sci-Chen elimination tactics. I studied every pattern, every weakness, every strategy you've used. I even wrote a book about it, How to Survive Being Impossibly Perfect in an Imperfect Multiverse. It's a bestseller in 17 dimensions. Students began emerging from buildings around us, but instead of the usual, grateful, well-adjusted citizens we'd come to expect, these looked deliberately ordinary. Slightly disheveled, mildly unhappy, carrying normal amounts of student debt and existential anxiety. You see, the voice continued, I realize that the fundamental problem with being a Sci-Chen is that we're too good at everything. It makes us targets. So I developed a new approach, strategic incompetence. That's not possible, Breadroll protested. Sci-Chens can't help but be perfect at everything. Can't we? The voice laughed. Watch and learn. A figure emerged from the main academic building and my brain struggled to process what I was seeing. It was definitely Sci-Chen. The bone structure, the posture, the inherent grace were all there, but she was wearing a slightly wrinkled sweater. Her hair was in a messy bun instead of perfect waves, and she was carrying a coffee cup with a visible stain on the lid. Behold, Dr. Sci-Chen announced, spreading her arms. Deliberate mediocrity. I've spent 3 years training myself to be aggressively average. My classes are exactly adequate. My research is competent but not groundbreaking. I help people, but only the normal amount that doesn't make anyone feel bad about themselves. She tripped slightly while walking toward us, caught herself, and gave an embarrassed laugh. See, I even practice being clumsy. Chen Eater opened fire without hesitation. Sci-Chen dodged with fluid grace, then immediately stumbled and fell over. "Damn it!" she cursed. "I keep forgetting to maintain the strategic clumsiness under stress." "Squad, full assault," Chen Eater commanded. What followed was the most bizarre combat encounter of our career. Dr. Sci-Chen fought like every other Sci-Chen with impossible skill and tactical brilliance, but kept stopping mid-combat to deliberately make mistakes. She disarmed Dolphin with a perfect wrist lock, then immediately dropped the weapon and said, "Oops, Butterfingers." She executed a flawless combat roll to avoid bread roll's shot, then stood up and announced, "I meant to do that less gracefully." "This is insane," I shouted, trying to get a clean shot while she alternated between superhuman competence and deliberate incompetence. "Insane?" Dr. Chen called back, while simultaneously dodging our fire and pretending to be surprised by her own agility. "No, this is science. Applied anti-perfectionism. I'm the first Sci-Chen to develop sustainable mediocrity." She pulled out what appeared to be a standard academic's clipboard and somehow transformed it into a shield that deflected our blaster bolts, then immediately fumbled it and had to scramble to pick it up. "The beauty of my system," she continued conversationally while Chen Eater tried to corner her, "is that I get to keep all my abilities while avoiding the insufferably perfect problem that makes people want to kill me. I'm just good enough to be helpful, but not so good that I make everyone else feel inadequate." "It's not working," Chen Eater snarled, switching to his flamethrower. "Well, no," Dr. Chen admitted, diving behind a deliberately ugly sculpture that she'd probably commissioned specifically for tactical cover. "You're still trying to kill me. But that's because you're operating under the old paradigm. You assume all Sci-Chens need to be eliminated, but what if I told you I've solved the Sci-Chen problem from the inside?" "We don't negotiate with Sci-Chens," I shouted. "I'm not negotiating. I'm offering a professional consultation. For a very reasonable fee, I can teach other Sci-Chen variants my strategic mediocrity techniques. Think about it. Instead of having to kill thousands of impossibly perfect Sci-Chens, you could just make them slightly less perfect." She popped up from behind the sculpture holding what appeared to be a PowerPoint presentation remote. "I have slides." Chen Eater's response was to launch a thermal detonator. Dr. Chen caught it with reflexive perfection, then immediately looked embarrassed. "I really need to work on my handy coordination suppression techniques," she muttered, before casually tossing the detonator into a nearby fountain where it exploded harmlessly. "You know what?" she said, dusting herself off. "Let me just show you my research." She clicked the remote and a holographic display appeared showing charts, graphs, and what appeared to be a comprehensive analysis of every Sci-Chen elimination we'd ever conducted. As you can see, she began in full lecture mode while continuing to dodge our attacks. The average Sci-Chen elimination takes 47 minutes and results in significant psychological trauma for the elimination team, but with my strategic mediocrity protocol, we could reduce interdimensional Sci-Chen incidents by up to 89%. "We're not here for your presentation," Breadroll shouted. "But it's really good. I got tenure based on this research." Well, I got adequate tenure. I made sure not to be too impressive during the review process. The battle continued for another 20 minutes, with Dr. Chen alternating between brilliant tactical maneuvers and deliberately clumsy mistakes while trying to convince us to attend her academic seminar on sustainable imperfection in high-achieving individuals. Finally, Chen Eater managed to corner her with a sustained assault that overwhelmed even her enhanced combat abilities. "Any last words?" he demanded, flamethrower aimed directly at her. Dr. Sci-Chen smiled that perfect Sci-Chen smile, then deliberately made it slightly lopsided. "Just one thing. Check your dimensional rift generator." We looked down. The device was flashing an error message. "Coordinates corrupted. Dimensional anchor compromised." "What did you do?" Chen Eater demanded. "Oh, I may have strategically sabotaged your escape route while you were distracted by my presentation," Dr. Chen said with obviously fake innocence. Did I forget to mention that I'm also an expert in interdimensional technology? I wrote my dissertation on it. Well, an adequately good dissertation. I made sure to include a few deliberate errors so it wouldn't be too impressive. Chen Eater pulled the trigger. Dr. Sarah Chen burned with the same grace as every other Sarah Chen, but her last words were, "Don't worry, I left detailed instructions for fixing your rift generator in your equipment packs, along with my complete research on strategic mediocrity. Consider it a professional courtesy." As her ashes settled, I checked my pack. Sure enough, there was a perfectly organized folder labeled Emergency Dimensional Travel Repair Kit with adequate instructions. Well, Dolphin said philosophically, at least this one was trying to be less helpful. She gave us a repair manual while we were killing her, I pointed out. That's still pretty helpful. Chen Eater sighed and started following Dr. Chen's instructions to fix our rift generator. 47,285 Sarachens to go, and somehow they just keep getting weirder. The dimensional portal opened, and we stepped through to the next universe. Behind us, the students were already organizing a memorial service that would be appropriately modest and not too inspiring, exactly as Dr. Chen would have wanted. Many thanks to my channel members and Pathfinders. You all make these videos possible. Thank you for listening to this story. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to leave this video a like and subscribe if you want to see more stuff like this. Video shares, memberships, and super thanks help the channel grow as well, so feel free to partner with this channel in that way as we grow. With that all said, thank you again for listening to this story, and thank you for your time. On the left side of your screen are some videos I think you might be interested in. I hope to see you in the next one.